Hi, this is Michael from MVR Music Lessons, and today I'm going to continue with my keyboard lessons. Now, today we're going to learn a song, but first I've got to talk a little bit more about whole steps, half steps. I'll try to get that out of the way kind of quick so we can go right into the song. And we're also going to learn a little bit about chords, but I don't want to get too into it. If you really want to kind of understand what we're doing, for right now, I'll go over it later on, but if you really want to understand, I would check out the first few videos of my music theory lessons. But let's just jump right into it. Whole steps, half steps. If we're on the C, a half step up is just up one note, and this is including black and white keys, always. Whenever I say whole step, half step, include both types of keys. So a half step up from right here, the C would be a C sharp. And now if we did a half step down, same thing, we just go down a note. If there was a black key here, it would be that one. But since we're on the C, there's no black key, we just go to the B. So that's a half step down. Now a whole step is when you skip a note. So from C to D is a whole step because we're skipping the C sharp. Now a whole step down would be skipping this B, and we'd be going to this A sharp. Now I'm using sharps right now, but technically this could also be D flat and this is B flat. So you should know either way, or at least know the white keys and be able to figure this out really fast. But yeah. So there's our whole steps. There's our half steps. Now we've got that down. We're going to talk about chords. We're going to talk about a major chord. A major chord, you start on a note, you do two whole steps. So if you do a whole step from the C, it's the D, and now a whole step from the D is an E. That's two whole steps up from C. There's the first part of our chord. Now the second part, we need to know that we go a whole step and then a half step. So a whole step skips a note, and a half step goes up one. So there's our second part. And that's a little formula to make a major chord anywhere. So let's say we started here. We would go up two whole steps. So there's a whole step, there's a whole step. There's the first part. Now up a whole step, up a half step. So we have, there we have another major chord. I just picked a random key. I mean, you can do that yourself, practice it and see if it sounds right. Now, we're also going to talk about minor chords. That's how to make a major chord. A minor chord, you could figure out the major and then take the key in the middle and move it down one. There's your minor chord. I'm kind of doing weird fingerings right now. My tripod is right there, so it's kind of awkward. My hand is kind of sideways in case you didn't notice, but yeah, so I wouldn't use these fingerings. What you want to do is use your thumb, middle finger, pinky for the white key chords like that. Now, anyways, back to what we're doing. So a minor chord is the major, and then you take the key in the middle and move it down one. So there's our minor chord. But the formula to make it, if you were to start on any random key, if you didn't want to try to make the major first and then do that, you should know that it's just reversed of what the major chord is. You do the whole step and then a half step first, and then you do the two whole steps. That's how you get a minor chord. So we have our little formulas for making chords down. Let's do a quick practice. We'll make a minor chord off of this. This note is a B. Now we would do a whole step and then a half step. There's our first part. Now the second part is two whole steps. So we have this to this, this to this. So we end up on an F sharp. See how that sounds like a minor chord? There's a big difference between major and minor chords. They just sound so different. Like this sounds sad, and now this sounds happy. Complete different sounds. And that was the major chord, because if you have a minor chord and you take the note in the middle, put it back up, that makes a major chord. That's a quick way to figure it out if you already know where the one chord is. But let's just go right into the song now. We'll take C. This is a C major chord. Now we're going to go to an A minor chord. This is A minor because right here we have a whole step and then a half step. and then we have 2 whole steps. That's our formula for making a minor chord. And right here we have major, because this is 2 whole steps, and then right here is a whole step and then a half step. So we have major. So those are the chords we're going to use. Get practice playing that. And you want to try to use this fingering. It's a little awkward for me just because of the tripod, but try to play it with those fingerings. Now, what we're going to do is hold this chord, go to this one, and then back up. And the rhythm we're going to do is something like this. So if you can kind of hear how that sounds, go ahead and go for it. We're going to talk more about counting and what beats that's actually on in a later video. Just try to hear the rhythm and try to match it, because I don't want to get into too much rhythm stuff right now. It'd be a lot for one video, but at least after this video you'll understand whole steps and half steps and how to form a chord starting from any key, and you'll be able to play a short little chord progression / song thingy, and you could show that off to someone, be like, hey look, I'm learning piano. And they'll be like, wow, you're awesome. And then you can tell them to check out my website, mvrmusiclessons.webs.com. That's my website. I have more tutorials like this for other instruments, and I have those music theory ones I keep talking about. You'll want to check those out. It'll make a lot more sense than this. I kind of go through stuff fast and then apply it to the keyboard here. On music theory lessons, I just focus on the music theory part of it, not on how to play and, you know, that's how you're supposed to finger the chord and all that. I just talk about the main concepts, and then you can apply that to the keyboard, because a lot of what I do is based around the keyboard. So that's it for this lesson. Make sure you check out my website, check out some more videos, and I will see you next time.